Welcome to this Jane. The purpose of this presentation is to familiarize you with some citations that it's possible you use in your paper, and also to talk about some common errors that students have as they work with APA 6th, especially in a reference section. Let's take a look at our first example here. This is what an online journal article would look like. And as you can see, this is how the URL is handled for it. Our second example would be for any kind of curriculum or course materials that you want to use that come from an online source. And in this case, the student found helpful some PowerPoint slides. The citation for it. And number 3, this would be an example of how you would handle a journal article that came from a hard copy, and with the title of the article, what you'll notice is that lowercase letters are used with the exception of the first letter of the first word, and then any time you have something following a colon, use a capital letter with that. Also, you'd use a capital letter in the title for any proper noun as well. Number 4 is really speaking to the issue of how you list multiple authors. As you can see in this case, we have 4 different authors. A comma is used between each of the authors' names, and then we use an ampersand sign right before the last author. Notice also that we use initials. You don't use first names in APA style, so list both initials followed by a period. If there's only one initial, then you just use the one initial then too. Notice after the date we have a period as well too. Let's scroll down to number 5 here. With number 5, this is an example of just how a web document would look, one that didn't have a date. Hopefully you don't use too many of these, but that's how it would look. And then on number 6, this is an example of how the journal title would look. Notice, first of all, that we're using uppercase letters for it. It's italicized. We have a comma. And then the 33 happens to be the volume. Notice that that is italicized. The number 5 is the issue. That is not italicized. And then we follow with a comma. On number 7, this is how a journal article would look if you only have the volume. Again, notice that is italicized, and then we have the page numbers that come right after it. With page numbers in APA, with journal articles, you don't use a P or a PP. You just simply list out the numbers. Let's scroll down a little bit more now. Number 8, this is an example of how a book would be listed. And again, we've got our authors right at the start. We've got the date followed by a period. And then we have the title of the book. And the title of the book is italicized, as you can see, but we're not using capital letters unless we have a proper noun in the title. Number 9, the point I wanted to make here is that any time you're using a citation that includes a book, you'll have where the book was published first, followed by a comma, and then a postal abbreviation, and then a colon. It's a little hard to see there, but that would be a colon there, and then you'd have the actual publisher follows that. What's interesting, and I'm going to shoot down to number 11 here, there are certain cities that you don't need the postal abbreviation for because they're commonly known. Cities like New York, and there are a total of 7 of them actually, so you don't need postal abbreviations for Baltimore, Boston, Chicago, Los Angeles, Philadelphia, and San Francisco. Number 10 is an example of how you would list an edited book, and you can see how that's going. And what's unusual here is when we have page references, we do use that PP. So hopefully that's helpful as you look at how to handle the reference section with APA. Okay, thanks.